All right, boys, I feel that it's time we talk about something that a lot of people have been, I guess, having issues with, right? And I feel that this topic is something that is very, very split between not only the community, but also the content creators. You'll have some content creators telling you one thing, and then you'll have other content creators telling you another. Now, I feel that it all boils down to personal preference, how you want to experience the game, and that's really all that matters, right? But there are certain things that are facts, right? And those facts, I think, reign supreme over everybody's personal opinion, personal preference, or whatever advice you are being told or you decide to listen to. Now, what I'm specifically referring to, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that for some reason, right? For some reason, people want to make certain decisions that impact their account, and then they want to go ahead and complain when those decisions don't give them the results they would like. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's go on over here and let's click this, right? So I was sent this today, right? And this is from some video, some calculations, right? And I don't really care about calculations. There's so many variables, right, that could impact said calculations. But basically what they were pointing out is Cardathia Siacona versus Cardathia Sanhua. The team DPS of Cardathia Siacona, right? 80,000 versus Cardathia Sanhua at 47,000. The team DPS ratio being 103% versus 60%, yada, yada, yada. Now, where am I going with this, ladies and gentlemen? I feel that we play this game in many different ways, but there are some questions that always get asked. And those questions are very simple. Should I pull characters' signature weapons? Should I pull characters' best in slot partners, right? And I feel that at the very launch of the game, it wasn't that big of a problem because we didn't have as many options. But as time has progressed, we have all talked about this. Some weapons have become very specific for some characters, and some DPSs or sub DPSs have been made for each other, right? So if we go back to the first time they improved Tower of Adversity, where they added 2 floors, right? 2 floors. People were complaining that they couldn't beat Tower. They couldn't beat Tower. It was just impossible. I had people telling me that as a free-to-play, you couldn't beat the last 2 floors in Tower. And if you're one of those, I just gotta say, go wash your ass and quit the game because you fucking suck. It's that simple. Or, pardon me, maybe your account is not prepared. And if it's not prepared, that's absolutely fine. Take your time building your shit. But I would go back and look at a lot of the people trying to clear Tower, and you would see them running teams that looked all kinds of scuffed. Let's be real. Their teams looked scuffed. They would have teams without their best in slot characters. They would be running, like I just showed you guys. They would be out here running Cardathia with Sanhua and then not being able to deal as much damage and not being able to clear. They would be out here running Zani with Spectral Rover and then complaining that they weren't able to clear. And then there were also those people that would be running, free-to-play options for teams and also not running signature weapons, right? Now, look, I just want to say this. I'm not sitting here trying to justify you needing to get every character and every weapon, but at the end of the day, Withering Waves is a team-based game. You're building teams. There's 3 motherfucking characters that you play this game with on the field, right? You rotate between them. They have synergies. One buffs the other one. One does this, one does that. That's just the way the game works. I feel that we're about to hit, or we're close to the 2-year mark of this game. Stop thinking that you don't need the best in slot partners or that you don't need the signature weapons for your characters to have a much easier time playing and clearing content. Just because Billy Bobby over there in the corner that has a fucking Sharingan and perfect hand-eye coordination can clear by doing 3,000 quick swaps and has no problem doing it, don't mean that most of you can do that. So while yes, I'm sure you can definitely clear with like Mortifier and Sanhua and a lot of different teams, it's always going to be better to pull the best in slot characters. You're always going to get better results. You're always going to have an easier time. I feel that this is something that people got to stop preaching where they tell players, no, you don't need to get the best in slot character. No, you don't need to get the signature weapon because, okay, yeah, you don't need to get it right now. Right now, you might be able to clear all the content, let's say with Augusta Mortefi. Perfect team. They might be able to clear stuff together for the next 3 to 4 months. But at some point, maybe it's going to happen where you're going to try to do tower, example Zani without PB, and you're going to be like, yo, how come I can't clear? And then would look at your account and you're out here rocking maybe Mortefi instead of Yuno, and maybe Gion's weapon instead of Augusta's weapon. And while each one individually might only be like a 10% difference from the free-to-play options as opposed to the, main weapons and main in-slot partners, when you add those two together, right, it goes now from only being like a 10% difference to a 25% difference in overall team damage. So, listen, some of y'all don't like hearing this. Some of y'all want to, no, but I like to get more characters. I get it. We're all playing these type of games to collect different units. But if you're watching content creators that are actively telling you to not pull a character's best in slot, or to not pull a character's signature weapon, a main DPS mostly, I don't know what the fuck those people are doing. They're effectively making all these people that watch them have worse accounts, have a harder time clearing, and then 3 months down the line, 5 months down the line, when they're struggling a lot more with their teams because they're not running signatures, they're not running best in slot teams, they're going to talk about the game having power creep, Kuro being predatory, the game is ass because you have to get signatures and you got to get best, in slot teammates. But the reality of it is, bro, you're playing this goddamn game to build teams. Bro, recently, like 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I got into ZZZ. Woo, I betrayed Kuro. I know, don't come at my neck. I started playing ZZZ. You know what the first thing I did when I saw one of the characters? What's the best team? What's the best team for this character? There are other options that I can run with the character, which I will run until I eventually get the best characters for that unit so I could have the best optimized team. So I just really want to say this because I've been seeing it over and over again from these random ass creators that be telling people that you don't need to get like the optimal teams or signature weapons because, oh, you see this weapon? This one is only 15% weaker. This one's only 10% weaker. And then the best in slot partner will come out and they'll be like, yo, you don't gotta get the best in slot partner. It's only 10% stronger than the free to play option. Just save your ass strikes. And then you go down the line and you end up with like Zani and S Rover without PB, and you're struggling and stressing out over not being able to clear content, blaming Kuro, blaming CCs, blaming everybody except for yourself for the bad decisions. And then that's just one thing, right? There's a lot of caveats and a lot of little things that can be said. There are characters whose weapons are just not that good. There are characters that you can, put other weapons or even 4 stars if you want to run them a certain way. Perfect example, Shorekeeper. You can get Shorekeeper's weapon and it's going to be pretty nice, but you can also run Shorekeeper on variation and you're going to pretty much be doing the same exact thing. It's usually the main DPSs that you want to get the weapons for and their best in slot partner, whether it's a sub DPS or a specific type of buffer, right? It's just the way that it works, and it's the best way to make sure that your teams and your characters have longevity. Listen, I don't care if you disagree with me. What I'm telling you is not an opinion. What I'm telling you is not what I like or how I see you should play the game. It's just a motherfucking fact. If you get characters with their weapons and with their best in slot premium character, they're going to have more longevity performing at their optimal level that they would without their signature weapon and without their best in slot. That's a motherfucking fact. That's not an opinion. So if you guys get upset about that, suck a dick from the side. It just is what it is. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about is, have y'all noticed how we're now moving in a direction where the characters are becoming a lot more specific, right? A lot more specific to running with each other. For a perfect example, we have Augusta and we have Yuno. They're basically in sync. I always said that it feels like they're kits got made to run with each other. And another thing that we really got to pay attention to, which I don't know if Kuro's going to continue to do this, is the fact that they're releasing the character with their best in slot right after, banner to banner. Now, I know that was the case with Augusta and Yuno, where we first got Augusta, then we got Yuno, and they pretty much are peanut butter and jelly. They go together. I also know that's going to be the case with Galbrina and Shi Yuan. Now, this game all boils down to pull whoever the hell you want, right? Some people will be like, oh, I want to pull Lupa and I want to pull Shang Li, but I don't want to pull Brand because he's a guy. Bro, you're stupid. You're eventually going to hit a wall where your teams are going to feel weird, not rotate the right way. It's just going to be weird. The same applies for a lot of other scenarios. For example, Augusta and Yuno. You don't need Yuno for Augusta, but it probably performs a lot better with having Yuno on the team. And now that we're getting Galbrina and Shi Yuan, it's the same exact thing. You're going to be able to run Galbrina with other characters like Shang Li, like Brandt, and they're going to do really good with Galbrina. But right after Galbrina's banner, we're going to have Shi Yuan's banner, which are going to be Galbrina's best in slot partner to make sure Galbrina herself deals the most amount of damage, hyper carry type of build. So we'll have to see how Kuro does it. And if from now on we're going to be getting a character and their best in slot right after, I personally think that's a little rough, because before we didn't have that. We had 1 or 2 banners, maybe more, where we would have time to save before we had to get the best in slot. But it all boils down to what I was telling you guys. Get yourself the best in slot units for your teams to give them the most longevity. Any content creator, like seriously, any content creator that tells you to not build your teams in the most optimal way is just setting you up to eventually be stressed, have some issues, or have to reconsider and go back to pull the best in slot characters. How many people that pulled Shang Li, and I have people like this in my chat right now, I know who you are. How many people pulled Shang Li and skipped Brandt because Brandt was a dude? And then when he reran, they pulled Brandt because of how much we told them it would fit and, you know, have their whole rotation be smooth. And now they're full-on mono fusion team believers. A bunch of people. Now they're like, oh shit, I gotta get Brandt because it just makes my team perform so much better. I gotta do it. It's gonna be real good. And then they got it, and it literally opened their eyes. How many people got Zani and skipped PB because they wanted the mommy with a fat ass and the big horns, but they didn't want to get Peebs because she looks like a younger girl, she looks like a church girl, and they just didn't like her style, right? And now they're sitting here with the Zani playing with Arrow Rover, getting arthritis in their hands and not enjoying Zani and not playing her. And now they're like, shit, I might have to get Peebs because my Zani is going to perform so much better. Don't be like those guys. Don't be like the ones that pull a character and then have to go a few months hating the character or not enjoying the gameplay because you decided to actively skip the best in slot units. I know I'm rambling a lot. I'm really rambling a lot, but I've seen creators tell people this. I've seen posts on Reddit. I've seen people in my own comments, in my own videos, always have this question of, should I get the best in slot character for this? Like, I love Augusta. They'll be coming to my stream. They'll be coming to the chat. They'll be coming to my comments talking about, I love Augusta. I will eat her unwashed ass. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, but I have a question, CJ. Should I get her best in slot character? Should I really get Yuno? I'm like, you just said you'd let Augusta take a dump on your chest and flatten it like a pancake. And you're asking me if you should get the character that allows your Augusta to perform to the best of her potential. Why do I have to reassure you of your decision that you already know the answer to, bro? People gotta stop doing that shit, because at the end of the day, the answer's simple, bro. Get the character that you really like and build around it. Do you need to do that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can you clear content with free-to-play builds? Absolutely. Wuwa is a very easy game. Very, very, very easy. It's probably one of the easiest gachas out there. At one point, I thought this was like this hardcore combat game that we're gonna have to like perfect parry, perfect. It's not. It's fucking easy. I know some of you dumb fucks want to say, well, you have S6 characters. We literally grabbed an account that hadn't played this game for 8 months, was very casual, never beat Tower, never beat Wuwa. We beat Wuwa, we beat Tower with the characters they had us. A free-to-play account that hadn't played for months in only 3 days of using the account. So I just want to say, at the end of the day, pick how you're going to progress, play smartly, and that's it. But if you want to go ahead and pull random characters and then run a team like Cantarella, Augusta, and Shang-Li on a team together because you just love your waifu team, you just love the character's design, that's absolutely fine. Play the game how you enjoy. Play the game exactly how you want to have fun. But then don't complain that your teams are ass, can't clear content, and the game is pay to win. The moment the game becomes pay to win, you can't clear content, power creep and all of that is an actual problem for the people that are playing the game in an optimized way, then we'll talk about it. But if you're out here playing with some doo-doo ass, bricked up comps, I think that's more of a you issue. But that's going to be it with this video, ladies and gentlemen. I really wanted to get this off my chest because it's been a topic I've seen a lot. People talking about, yo, this CC. First off, don't come to me talking about what another CC said. I don't give a fuck what another CC. Like, if another CC is telling you to do something, that's between you and the other CC. Don't tell me what another CC told you. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you what I think, right? But at the end of the day, you shouldn't care about what another CC tells you or what I tell you or what nobody tells you. Make your own decisions. Just study the games you're getting into and understand them a little bit. It's simple, especially with these gacha games that literally take a few days, maybe a week to fully understand and grasp. That's going to be it, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe, and yo, let me know what you think about this topic. Do you think I'm right? You better, because I'm right. Do you think I'm wrong? You're wrong. But yeah, man, I'll see you guys on the next one, and peace.